Will the Indian Air Force get made in India F-35 stealth fighter jets? In a significant development, US aerospace major Lockheed Martin is all set for high-level talks with Indian Air Force as well as the Ministry of Defense over the 5th generation F-35 stealth fighter jet deal, signaling that the lucrative offer made to Indian Prime Minister Modi by President Trump still stands valid.
Many billions of dollars were also paving the way to ultimately provide India with the F-35.
What's more, for the first time, Lockheed Martin has hinted that it may be open to setting up an F-35 plant in India if the IAF order is large enough. A Lockheed Martin India official quoted in news portal defense.in that senior executives from the company's US headquarters are expected to visit India soon for the briefing, with scheduling currently underway. He stated, quote, "It will depend on how many units India wants to procure. If India insists and the numbers justify it, Lockheed Martin might consider setting up a FACO facility here, like those in Japan and Italy," unquote. The recent development follows remarks made by Indian Air Force officials as well as Defense Secretary downplaying Donald Trump's F-35 offer to India. On the 9th of March, Chief of the Indian Air Force, Air Chief Marshal A.P. Singh, clarified that India has not looked at the F-35 option. The Air Chief revealed, quote, "We have not looked at it. We are not going to buy a washing machine or a refrigerator for a home that we can just say, let's buy this or that looks good. We must analyze an aircraft fully and see the requirements and what comes along with it. We have not given it a thought. No offer has been made till now," unquote. Now, this controversial comment came only weeks after Trump's televised F-35 offer to India. But in sharp contrast, the Indian Air Force declared that it hasn't even evaluated what's widely considered the world's leading stealth fighter jet. The reasons could be many. Firstly, India flies either Russian or French fighters and does not have the ecosystem for US-made jets. Secondly, operational needs and requirements. Thirdly, manufacturing in India, not to mention the hefty price tag attached to the F-35. Industry observers suggest that reluctance and roadblocks for any F-35 deals stem from the 114 MRFA tenders requirements for firstly, a significant transfer of technology, secondly, establishing a local production line in India. Now, there were also speculations of the US not keen on technology transfer. This at a time when the Russians are offering full transfer of technology and manufacturing for the Sukhoi 57 Felon in India. Now, Lockheed Martin India officials quoted in defense.in suggest that the aerospace giant is now planning to pursue a foreign military sales agreement, which is a direct government-to-government deal with India, which does not require such high levels of tech transfer, which would be similar to the Rafale deal with France. The report also suggests that the possibility of local manufacturing might also resurface if the potential order made by India to the United States is large in number. Possibly around 110 units of the F-35 stealth aircraft. An order of such magnitude will position India as the #1 international operator of the F-35 jets, forcing Lockheed Martin to explore setting up a final assembly and checkout facility, or FACO, in India. But the big question is, will India roll the dice? Does the platform satisfy the operational requirements of the Indian Air Force, especially given its depleting fighter squadron bench strength? With 31 fighter jet squadrons against the sanctioned strength of 42, India has decommissioned nearly all aging MiG-21s, with the likes of Jaguar, Mirage 2000s and MiG-29s next in line as early as 2035. India's focus has been to fill this void by boosting squadron numbers with indigenous fighter jets, including Tejas Mark 1As, Tejas Mark 2s, as well as AMCA in the future. But does India also need the F-35? Now, the F-35 integrates stealth technology with advanced sensors, networked combat capabilities, and superior situational awareness. Unlike conventional fighter jets, the F-35 can operate undetected at supersonic speeds and deliver precision strikes with minimal exposure to enemy radar systems. Widely regarded as the stealthiest fighter in operation today, the F-35 permits speeds to reach up to Mach 1.6 with the help of a single Pratt & Whitney F135 engine that produces 40,000 pounds of thrust on nearly 177 kilonewtons. The F-35 carries an advantage of taking off using a catapult and landing on the deck of an aircraft carrier vertically using an aero finisher. Equipped with a 30% larger wing area, it has an increased tail area and control surfaces to provide high controllability even at low landing speeds on the deck of an aircraft carrier. Having a weapons payload of 6,000 kilograms to 8,000 kgs, the F-35 is capable of carrying heavy weaponry in an internal weapons bay without compromising its depth. Now, one of its standout features is that it is equipped with unique cockpit consisting of touch screens and a helmet-mounted display system that allows the pilot to see real-time information. The militaries of 17 nations, including Australia, Canada, Germany, Israel, South Korea, Singapore, Switzerland, the United Kingdom, and of course the United States, currently operate the F-35s. Widely used in the Middle East, the Israeli Air Force flew 3 F-35s during a test mission over the Iranian capital Tehran back in 2018, successfully evading all air defense systems. The stealth fighter was later employed by Israel to strike hostile targets after it shot down 2 Iranian drones carrying weapons to the Gaza Strip. The American F-35 comes in 3 variants: F-35A with conventional takeoff and landing, F-35B with short takeoff and vertical landing, and F-35C, which is carrier-based fighter. Considering the F-35A for India, which is the most suitable due to its land-based operations, it will have a flyaway cost of approximately $82.5 million per unit. The effective unit cost will rise to $100 to $110 million if other expenses like training, spare parts, and support equipment are included, placing the total acquisition cost at roughly $12.1 billion for 110 units. This compared to Sukhoi 57's cost of nearly $50,000 per unit excluding add-ons, which is significantly cheaper. As of 2023, the F-35's operating cost is $33,000 per flight hour when a 40-year life cycle cost is kept in mind. The annual operating cost per aircraft if an F-35 flies 250 hours is $7.5 million and will amount to $300 million per aircraft and $33 billion for a fleet of 110 jets over 40 years lifespan. As for a report by the Observer Research Foundation, quote, "The exorbitant F-35 will severely limit the number of squadrons that can be purchased, and numbers matter for retaining India's conventional deterrence," unquote. But the biggest question facing the Indian Air Force is, can it maintain deterrence against Chinese and Pakistani stealth fighters without a stealth jet of its own? Pakistan, which is the largest procurer of Chinese weapons, is set to buy 40 Chinese J-35 jets, though their stealth capabilities remain questionable. China is already flying over 200 J-20 stealth jets and has even stationed them in Tibet. In such a scenario and given the costs, what do you believe? Should India buy the F-35s or back its own indigenous AMCA stealth fighter program? Leave a comment with your opinion, hit the like button and subscribe to Inconnect News.